Welcome to this explainer. Look, if you work in accounting, finance, or ops, you've absolutely felt the massive technological shift happening right beneath your feet. Artificial intelligence, it's no longer just some futuristic concept. Actually, it's probably doing a fraction of your job right now. We're seeing it integrated everywhere, from our basic ERP systems all the way up to those advanced FP&A forecasting platforms. But to really leverage this tech, we need to understand what's actually driving it. So today, we're going to unpack the absolute powerhouse behind this shift, deep learning. We're going to cut right through the hype and look at exactly how this technology applies to your everyday professional life. All right, here's our roadmap for today. We're going to quickly walk through the deep learning revolution, how it actually works, 3 key AI architectures, real-world finance applications, the very real limits of this technology, and finally, how humans and AI are going to collaborate. Let's get into it. Section 1, the deep learning revolution, AI in the enterprise. Okay, let's dive into this, because AI is already actively embedded in the tools you rely on every single day. Just look at the sheer variety of systems powered by deep learning right now. Obviously, we all know it powers ChatGPT and modern large language models, or LLMs, but it's also the muscle behind the invoice OCR system scanning your payables, the fraud detection algorithms protecting your company, and those predictive models used in audit analytics and FP&A forecasting. It's literally touching everything, from treasury and tax to procurement. It's totally ubiquitous. Section 2, how deep learning actually works, under the hood. Now, to really get why this is such a big deal, we have to grasp the fundamental paradigm shift in how these systems operate. They don't just follow a script anymore. They learn by loosely mimicking biological neurons in the human brain. It's a total game changer. Think about the old way, the traditional machine learning pipeline. If you wanted to detect fraud, some poor analyst had to sit there and manually program explicit, handcrafted rules. Things like transaction frequency or average purchase size. It was tedious manual feature engineering. But with deep learning, the neural network learns these representations automatically, directly from the raw data. It literally finds the patterns for you. Which leads us to a great question, and honestly, one I get asked all the time. Why is it actually called deep learning? What exactly is so deep about it? Well, the answer is all about the architecture. Deep simply refers to the stacking of many hidden layers within a neural network. Older, traditional models were kind of shallow, maybe just 1 or 2 layers with pretty limited power. But deep learning stacks layer upon layer upon layer. And this is brilliant because the early layers detect very simple patterns. The middle layers start to combine those patterns. And the deeper layers? They can detect highly complex, high-level concepts. It's like a giant puzzle seamlessly coming together. Now, here's a fun fact. The underlying concepts of neural networks have actually been around for decades. So why did deep learning suddenly become so incredibly powerful just recently? Well, it's because these 3 specific catalysts finally aligned perfectly. First, the internet and modern enterprise systems gave us the enormous datasets we needed to train on. Second, we finally got the massive compute power required. Specifically, GPUs that are easily accessible via cloud providers like AWS, Google Cloud, and Azure. Without the cloud, modern AI just wouldn't exist. And third, we developed better algorithms, things like improved backpropagation and optimizers, which made deep learning practical at an actual enterprise scale. Section 3, 3 key AI architectures, tools for the job. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is seeing AI as a toolbox. And our first tool, convolutional neural networks, or CNNs. This architecture is custom-built for scanning images, visual patterns, and computer vision tasks. In the accounting world, this translates immediately to accounts payable automation. When a system scans a PDF invoice and perfectly extracts the vendor name, the invoice number, the taxes, the totals, it's using a CNN-based OCR model to literally see and interpret that document. It is saving you from the absolute misery of manual data entry. Okay, the second tool is recurrent neural networks, or RNNs. Unlike CNNs that look at static images, RNNs are built for sequences and time series data. They remember historical dependencies. So if you're doing any kind of forecasting, whether that's predicting customer delinquency patterns over time, analyzing cash flows, or modeling sales demand, RNN architectures are the engine crunching that sequential historical data to predict the future. And finally, we have transformers. This is the revolutionary architecture that completely turned the AI world upside down in recent years. It's the core engine behind models like ChatGPT, Gemini, and Claude. And what makes transformers so special is their use of attention mechanisms. This was a massive breakthrough that allows the model to look at a huge block of text and instantly figure out which pieces of information actually matter most in context. And the capabilities of transformers are just completely reshaping knowledge work. I mean, look at these finance applications. Because of their absolute mastery of language, transformers can be used to draft financial statements, generate MD&A commentary, draft complex technical accounting memos, prepare audit responses, and even instantly retrieve knowledge from across the entire enterprise. The amount of manual, tedious reporting and drafting work this specific architecture can handle is, well, it's simply staggering. Section 4. Real-world finance applications, transforming your workflow. So let's look at how this is transforming daily workflows across the enterprise. In financial reporting, AI systems are actively analyzing trial balances and summarizing variances. Over in tax, it's assisting with some really complex transfer pricing analysis. In FP&A, it's driving revenue and working capital forecasting. And out in operations, it's being used for predictive maintenance and defect detection, like, say, a pharmaceutical manufacturer using AI to predict packaging constraints. The point here is, no matter what your specific department is, deep learning is rapidly becoming part of your operational reality. Section 5. The limits of deep learning. The reality check. All right, time for a reality check. While this tech is powerful, it's not magic, and we need to walk systematically through these major limitations. First up is data hunger. Deep learning requires massive, broad, and squeaky clean datasets. Small or messy datasets, they're just going to lead to overfitting and bad results. Second is compute cost. Training these huge models on GPUs and cloud infrastructure is incredibly expensive. And third, bias and governance. Look, AI models learn from historical data. If your historical enterprise data is full of errors, misclassifications, or incomplete records, the AI won't magically fix them. It'll just learn, reproduce, and scale those exact same errors. It's the ultimate example of garbage in, garbage out. Bad historical data guarantees bad AI outputs. And then we hit what is perhaps the biggest hurdle for our profession, the explainability problem, or as it's commonly known, the black box. So the crucial point here is that deep models often behave completely opaquely. We know the input going in, and we get an output coming out, but we can't easily trace the exact logic the system used to arrive there. And in fields like audit, technical accounting, credit risk, and regulatory reporting, a black box answer is a total non-starter. It's simply unacceptable. You absolutely have to be able to show your work and explain the why. Section 6. Human and AI collaboration, the future operating model. I really want to juxtapose these two concepts clearly, because there's a lot of fear out there. The idea of fully autonomous accounting, where algorithms just run the entire finance department totally unchecked. That's a complete myth. The reality is human plus AI collaboration. AI is here to augment professionals, not replace professional judgment. We still absolutely need human review, CPA governance, rigid controls, approvals, and full auditability. Deep learning isn't coming for your job. It's just a highly capable new tool in your operational tool belts. And I want to leave you with this final, powerful thought. AI will not replace accountants, but accountants who understand AI will. This transformation has already begun, and deep learning is your new operational tool belt. So the real question you should be asking yourself is, what is the very first workflow you're going to augment tomorrow? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I will see you next time.